Hi, this is James Clarkson from MAXSURF Technical Support. This is just a little video on converting static trimming from an imported model, say from Rhino or Microstation, into the dynamic trimming that MAXSURF uses. So if we take a look at this model here, I'm going to turn on my trim curves, turn off my um, edges to make it obvious, and we can see this red trim curve here, which is where this tunnel, the two tunnel surfaces, is trimmed into my hull surface. Now the problem with uh, using that static trimming is if I go and edit my model, any changes I make to my model in MAXSURF aren't going to be updated. So now my trimming is incorrect. And it basically means that if you want to make refinements to your model, you'd need to go all the way back to your source model in Rhino or MicroStation to make the changes there, re-import it, and then take it through to, for instance, stability analysis, rather than just editing it here in MAXSURF. So I'm going to talk through the process of converting these red trim curves into the yellow intersection curves that will dynamically update with the model. So Control Z to put that model back to how it should be. So the first thing we've got to do is to get rid of those trim curves. So I've still got my edges off, turn my render off so I can select curves. Let's lock this so it's simplified. And the process for getting rid of the trim curves is as simple as hitting the delete key. Now you'll notice that when I press the delete key, there's still a curve there, and that's because the cylinder was trimmed to the hull and the hull is trimmed to the cylinder. So each one of those intersections has a, show render. That's fine, I haven't got my edges on. So each one of those intersections, the cylinder to the hull and the hull to the cylinder, has its own curve. And then the cylinder, of course, is split into two. So that has gone and removed that trimming, so it's now untrimmed. So the next step is that we go and apply that trimming back in. So I'm going to go to my surfaces table here. And here at the end is our list of cutting surfaces. So if I double click on here, it comes in and it shows us which surfaces are trying to trim each other. And we actually have the all selected to each other. So we can actually, we can shortlist this by selecting only the intersecting surfaces. So this is saying that top sides, which is bonded to the chine but not intersecting the chine, doesn't actually intersect anything. Now we can shortcut that process of our intersecting by just typing the letter I, as you'll see in the tooltip there. So I for intersecting. We can just type that letter I into that box, or I'll do it in this top one here. If I type that letter I, shift left arrow to highlight it, and Control C puts it in my clipboard. And now I can go and select that whole row and Control V to paste it in. So when I look here, what I've got, you'll see that these cylinders intersect with the bottom surface, and that's all it's checked there. So let's come back to my model here, turn my render off so I can see things, and you'll see that that intersection curve is drawn yellow. I'll turn the display of my intersections on and off a bit so we can see. So that's the intersection curve that's yellow. So now we can, with my render on, I can select the surfaces again and right click and start trimming. So here I select the parts of the model that I want to get rid of. So the gray is, the solid gray is the parts that we're keeping, and right click and trim, or you'll see there the shortcut is Control T. So same again, start trimming and Control T. Oh, sorry, didn't select it. Control T. Now, if you do have a situation where this start trimming untrim is not active, then you will need to go to display trimming and set it to trim invisible. So we can turn that display of trimming on or off if we want. So yeah, we need it on trim invisible to go and do this trimming. And here we currently have that trimming correct. So let's just remembered it from previously. So now we have that that trimming as dynamic trimming. So we go back to that initial test we did. unlock, and we've decided we want to move this this position, and drag it down a little bit, and you'll see that all of my trimming is updated, so that not only has my tunnel become longer to keep intersecting the sides, but also the cutout in the top sides, sorry, in the bottom surface is moved. So that's the advantage of working with dynamic trimming. Now, just in case you do want to go the other way, we can actually do that. So let me turn this render off, lock that to simplify it, simplify everything down. If I select on a yellow intersection curve, I can in fact convert that back to a red trim curve. And once again, I do have two lots of curves there because it's the cylinder to the bottom and the bottom to the cylinder that we have going on. So look, that's the process. So we're actually on a full round trip there that I've gone from static trim curves to dynamic intersection curves and then back to those static trim curves. I hope this has been a useful little lesson, and good luck.